Welcome everyone to the first ever RZFL Madden Mobile Podcast. Today we're here with myself, RZFL Sports, Nicholas Buckley Games, and John. Say what's up, guys.
What's up, guys?
Hello. We're here at the Wobbly Potato Factory. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But we're here at our studio. We're in Iceland again. Because of all the complications going on right now. We're doing a Madden Mobile Podcast. We're talking about King of the Board, our auction house philosophies, how to make good coins, and much more. What are your thoughts right now on the current state of the game?
Well, I still feel like EA is way too tight of a hold on the auction house.
Now, obviously, right now, there's a floor and a ceiling on every card sold. Right now, we have very different interpretations of the U.S. constitutional auction house. My constitution, I would like to say, is a little bit more strict, while our friend John's constitution is a little bit more, loose.
Well, I'm going to say one thing. I think that the way the auction house is right now with EA's control over it is actually to the benefit of the players, because there's not very many people actually still playing the game in terms of actively participating in the auction house. So I think the players of prices would be all over the place, and I think EA is actually helping with keeping the prices of the players pretty good for most of the players, most people trying to play the game, actually.
Okay, so we're going to start off with our go-to filter. It's basically you're going to select every position except for quarterback. You're going to go 90 pluses, and you're going to go 50K. You're going to have to scroll through a lot of stuff. There's going to be a lot of garbage. You're going to see a lot of Team of the Week players, a lot of garbage Centennial players. You're going to get to the end, and sometimes there's going to be something really good that drops. Fortunately, on the round that I'm working on right now, nothing dropped. But this is a very good filter. What are our thoughts on this go-to filter that has gotten me over 1 million coins in the past couple days?
Well, I've been able to take a nice look at it, and so far I like where it's going. I think it's a nice filter.
Well, I like the filter. I think it's very useful for getting a wide variety of players at a good price. However, there are a lot of the Centennial players that are very common, and they kind of fill up the round a lot of the time, but every now and then you'll be able to get a good player for a good price. But I do think that a lot of the special teams players where you're spending more than 50K are kind of the way to go to make even more coins a lot of the times. But every now and then you will get some good snipes on this filter. So
yeah, especially sometimes 92 overall. Devin Hester's drop all the time for 50K on this filter. That's solid 50K profit. Normally on this filter, you're looking to get stuff between 10K and 30K profit. But sometimes there are exceptions. You can get more. And when you're not feeling the filter, you just bid snipe. It's that simple. That's how you make your coins.
I recommend every now and then, just searching those special teams players and just seeing anything that's about to either expire, or searching for the buy now about 150, 100K or whatever, and then just seeing if there's anything that dropped in the round, because every now and then for those big 98 overall, like Devin Hester's and stuff like that, that's where you can make a lot of coins if something drops pretty cheap.
So, how are we feeling about how we sell our players off? How do you sell your players off, John? How do you sell your players off?
I sell my players off?
Yes, what's your philosophy?
What I do is, I get whatever player. When I actually decide whether I want to buy a player or not, I make sure I look it up, because there's not that many people playing the game, so I'm able to look up if a card just dropped. I'll have enough time to buy it if I'd like. So I look it up. If I feel like I can make coins off of it, another 10 to 20K minimally, then I actually decide to buy it, based off of like the buy now price, the cheapest one out there. So then when I decide to post it, I obviously search for the card again, because you should always search it and try to see what the lowest price is out there. Now, if there's a lot of cards out there of the same card, I decide to post the player depending on how many coins you actually spend for it. So if you're spending 70K on the card or something like that, then you may not want to lower it that much compared. But if you're lowering it, if you get the card for like 300K, you might have to significantly underprice it in comparison to the lower cards. Like, you can't just give a generic rule like 20K cheaper or something, but sometimes you do want to go about 10, 15, 20K cheaper on the buy now. But most of the times your auctions are going to sell based off of EA actually bidding on them for the bid price.
Yeah, EA likes to... I disagree a little bit. I think our friend John is living in 2016 still, Madden Mobile 2016 auction house. Normally, you're focused on either A, you want EA to bid on your players. If you notice, with about 30 minutes to go, if your player's bid price is reasonable, EA will bid on it. EA will do it. That's just how it is. It's EA runs the auction house. EA will bid on your player about 30 minutes left. Sometimes you want to cater your selling price to your bid price, so EA bids on it. Other times, if you think real people will actually buy your card, you want to price your things. A lot of people say don't underprice your cards, but sometimes that's the way to go. You underprice your cards a little bit, so you're constantly getting your cards back. You're constantly building coins. And that's how we roll around here. That's how we make our million coins.
I think it really depends on how many coins you actually have to depend on how much you feel like underpricing your cards. If you've got a lot of coins to work with, then maybe it is a good idea to underprice some of your cards a little bit more significantly. But if you actually want to make more coins and let's say you only have like 100K on you, or something like that, then maybe it's a little bit more worthy of taking a risk or something, even though you may want those coins back. So if it doesn't sell, it may hurt you more, but if it does wind up selling, or even if it doesn't sell, you can repost it. But if you're a little more aggressive with how you price it, obviously you don't want to price it higher than anything else out there, but if you're a little more aggressive, it can pay off in some of the instances, which is definitely a good idea for some of the higher overall players.
I really don't think you should be that aggressive. I think you should be getting those for sure coins.
Well, if you spend 100K on like a 98 overall,
you want to make sure. You want to make sure you're getting coins, but at the same time, you want to make sure you're getting things to sell. You don't want to keep reposting. If you have a ton of coins, obviously you can do that. But when you're starting out and you only have 300K or so, that's a big.
Well, that's
a big loss to your capital.
There has been instances where I've gotten a player and tried to post it, let's say for like 80K. Just for an example.
You don't want to be handcuffed by requiring a player to keep buying over and over again. Well, before you get into your next point, I'd like to say this podcast is sponsored by Buckley Games, coming at you with the greatest games of the century. Download Protect a Piggy, J-Run, or Dakota Code today. Use code RZFL to unlock the free RZFL pack in Dakota Code now. Now, as you were saying, John, keep on going.
Yeah, so I was saying if you spend 80K for a player, which I spent 80K. This is just an example, but I've spent 80K approximately for a player before where I posted it and it did not go through. However, I did repost it a couple more times and I was actually able to raise the price and sell it for even more. This is because every time my auction does not go through, I look at the cheapest price that currently is at that moment after the 4 hours have expired, and then I'll put a new price and base it off that. So one time, or a couple times even, where I've spent a certain amount of coins, I'm actually able to raise it and make even more coins. So that's why it is sometimes a good idea to be a little more aggressive.
You can be aggressive, but you want to make sure you have a solid base of coins already. You don't want to do it when you don't have many coins. And sometimes it's just better to, cater to what EA likes to bid on players for.
I think for players that are cheaper overall, it is a little bit better not to be as aggressive. But if you're buying a player that you spent a crap ton of coins on, excuse my language, I think it's actually a good idea to make some more aggressive moves, especially if you don't have that many coins actually in the game, because then you're making a big investment, and if that actually does pay off, then you're going to be looking a lot better, and then you're able to buy a lot more players.
We'd like to remind John that this is a family-friendly podcast.
Okay, now we're going to head over to an issue that our friend Nicholas Buckley Games has more knowledge on. And that's, we're going to be going and heading into the new promo, the King of the Board. Something Nicholas Buckley Games is working on his new auction house philosophy. He's trying to get into his own. We're going to put up some screenshots right now of all the players, a log of all the players that we've gotten so far. It's a lot of profit. There'll be a number on the screen. Yeah. Anyway, we're on the King of the Board promo. What are your thoughts? I think this is the most basic cookie cutter EA promo of all time, but it does give us some new content. What are your favorite cards out of this promo? Obviously, not too many cards, but
not too many. But obviously, I love the 100 overall Zach Ertz.
That card's kind of trash for 100 overall. Honestly.
Well, as a
Giant, stats could be better. Does have 99 catch, 99 awareness.
But 79 strength is...
Okay, keep going, John. Keep going.
Yeah, well, as a Giants fan, I'm always looking for new Giants cards, and they did not deliver. And I do feel like EA was a little bit lazy on the promo, kind of just like RZFL said, copy and pasting the 4th of July promo style. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just don't like the overall design of it, honestly. I'd rather things require regular stamina in some way, but at the same time, there are plenty of other good events out there, such as aces to complete recycle packs, and movers out there, which are able to get you some pretty solid players just by playing the game.
Yeah, the future stamina could definitely be better, obviously. Right now I'm opening up the promo win pack. It's one of the best packs in the game. Fortunately, I don't get anything here, but you're able to get some really solid diamond pulls, Madden Futures players out of the Queen Blitz. Cost 100 future stamina. Obviously, that's a lot of future stamina. But that's pretty much the best part of the promo. Outside of that, I don't know what EA is really doing here. Obviously, we only have less than a month to the new Madden Mobile comes out. So it is good that, in a sense, they're putting out new content. At the same time, I would like a little bit more effort on here, a little bit more creativity. But this is EA. That's who we're dealing with. My favorite card in this promo, I would like to say, is the Cologne Mac. I like it a lot. He's got the white helmet on. This is the card I'm going for. Obviously, not one of these experienced players that could easily complete multiple masters and get a 105 overall Julio Jones like that. But we'll get what we can take. I think a couple of these 100 overall should be an easy completion now.
Well, I am going to mention one thing about back to the auction house and how much to price players. Well, RZFL is not as aggressive in pricing those bigger, expensive players a lot of the time. And I even asked them earlier about how much to price my Devin Hester Sr. for, 98 kick returner. And I bought it for about $200K, but I just got done selling it. I put the bid price at $295K, so I wound up making $68K off of this card, and RZFL was encouraging me to post it for less. He didn't actually know what I actually bought it for, but he was telling me that he wound up selling that same type of card for about the price I even bought it for. So I'm going to be honest.
I just didn't buy 98 Hester. I was talking about 92 Hester.
92 Hester? I don't know. I heard something.
I've been buying 92 Hesters left and right for 50K and selling them off on bid prices for 110K.
I'm just saying, if you be a little bit more aggressive with some of those more expensive cards, you can make a little bit more coins, especially 68K on a card, only waiting 4 hours. That's pretty good overall.
I would like to take this time to plug our sponsor, Nicholas Buckley Games, coming at you with the greatest games of the century. Download Protect to Peggy Jaron or Decode to Code today. Use promo code RZFL and Decode to Code for a free RZFL pack.
That RZFL pack's actually pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I know. Speaking of aggressiveness, though, I did go after a Tyreek Hill playoff edition. Obviously, that's one of the worst sets you can complete. I got it for about 150K on a bid price. Finally able to sell it off on a current bid of 213K. Got 191K out of it, so that's obviously a 40K profit. Pretty solid for that type of card. Have been able to snipe some 99s for about 300K. Get them off for 450, 500K. And that has also gotten me some solid profit over the past couple days.
You know what I think is pretty cool about this year on Madden Mobile is that I haven't played all season. I did play at the beginning of the year, kind of took a break for a good while, and just started returning to the game about a week ago. But the one good thing is that you can actually make a pretty solid budget team in a short period of time, as long as you're selling players and buying players in the auction house.
And buying the easy 98 overalls.
Well, it's still a good budget team, honestly.
But their power's trash.
Their power may be trash, but you can still utilize...
You're not even trying right now.
Well, you can utilize...
You're just putting... We're talking about cookie cutter. You're putting the same cookie cutter cards all over your team. And look at my team.
The one good thing about them is you're able to utilize their better stats compared to some of the lower overall players. I'm not saying that it's not a bad idea to have a good amount of power on your team, but if you're just starting the game or you're just starting to play the game again, it's actually not necessarily a bad idea to put together a budget team with some of those players. I do recommend going for power if you're actually trying to progress in Overdrive into like the Hall of Fame level, but if you're just trying to play more casually as a player, it is recommended, especially if you're trying to have a good looking legacy team, to buy some of those cheap players to begin with, start playing the game, and then eventually save up your coins on the auction house.
I mean, it is July. Players. A lot of people aren't really playing the game right now.
Yeah, we have less than a month left until the new Madden Mobile is going to drop.
Our final thing, we're talking about a very underrated set in the game that no one really seems to know about, and that is called the Recycle set. People know about it, but people just assume it's garbage. So basically, what you trade in 20 collectibles. It doesn't sound like much. You trade in 20 collectibles. You either get one of four things. You get 250 training points, which is terrible. 40 stamina, which is okay. 4,000 coins, which that's okay, or 80 Madden gems. You also have the chance of pulling an 80-plus player. Now, how do you get these 20 collectibles? Easy. Well, whenever the Aces Live event comes out, you want to use a lot of your stamina. If not all your stamina. I know there's some better stuff to do, especially if you haven't played the Madden Futures Blitz, or if there's movers out, obviously. But use your stamina on that. And then you put all the collectibles from that into recycle sets. and you can get a lot of gems. So you can get some stamina back, but most importantly, the 80 overall cards. And the 80 overall cards could be very, very good. In my experience, 297s, 493 pluses just in the past week.
You know, I haven't had as much luck with those recycle packs. I've only pulled one diamond player. But the one good thing I do like is I happen to have good luck with getting stamina out of those Aces packs, or from Recycle, so I can play the Aces event even more, and then maybe even play some of the other events that I haven't played just by utilizing that. So I give myself a good chance to pull those diamond players, which I just don't have the luck for sometimes. But as you see, RZFL has had good success with that, and since I'm able to recoup some of that stamina, I'm able to utilize that in some of the other events, which is very good.
Yeah, so pulled 97 Will Hernandez out of it. You can see by screenshots right now that we're going to put on the screen. 97 Will Hernandez and a 97 Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White was unauctionable, unfortunately. But, again, that's 297 overall players. Pulled multiple Team of the Week heroes out of that. And sometimes in those packs, they will put, 130 power elites that obviously sell for more, especially when they're 85 pluses. So that's always side. You get some good coins out of that. You can just sell your elite players off. For only 30 stamina an event, it's pretty solid. Any ending thoughts from Nicholas Buckley Games or John? Any ending thoughts on this podcast?
I feel like we should do these more often, especially when the new season starts.
For sure. I mean, this is going to be, we'll be pumping out content, you already know. Any thoughts, John? Any thoughts?
I'm just just thinking about how great of an opportunity it is to start up the game at this point, especially with the Madden Futures thing where you could spend 4,000 Madden gems and then go through the gauntlet and get 298 players, as well as connecting your EA account and getting 100 overall.
And you get your 105 Randy Moss as well, 500 mana cash, 1,000 stamina when you complete the gauntlet. Obviously, a lot of good stuff. You can get the 105 Chris Jones easy. Phone's going off right now. We don't care because we just grind through it. I think, though, that's going to be our Madden Mobile Podcast.
Big shout-outs to our sponsor.
Yeah, big shout-outs to our sponsor, Nicholas Buckley Games, coming at you with the greatest games of the century. Download Protect Piggy, Jeron, or Decode today on the Google Play App Store. Use promo code RZFL for a free Decode game pack. Thank you guys for watching. This is the RZFL Madden Mobile Podcast.